Hello everybody, I'm TeenyTieDye. I'm in middle school and I started tie-dyeing with my dad about a year and a half ago. So today I'm going to be doing a spiral design, but I'm kind of going to dye it a little bit in a more different way. So I'll explain more about that when we get there. But I'm really excited to do this design because I've been playing with it now for the last month, and I've actually made some hoodies for me and my dad that we have matching. And I'm just really excited to do this tutorial. So let's get into it. So I'm starting off with a 100% cotton t-shirt that's been soaked in soda ash for 1 hour, and then I spun it out in my washing machine, so now it's just slightly damp. So first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to take my ruler or measuring tape and see how long this is so I can do a point right in the center for my spiral. 21 and a half. And a half is 21, so 10 3/4. Okay. That looks about right. I gotta put my washer marker away. Okay. I like my spirals to be a little bit below the armpit seam, but it's really just personal preference. So that looks good to me. And since I'm going to be ice dyeing this shirt, I'm going to turn it inside out, because sometimes when you ice dye, it leaves little like splotches. I don't really know how to explain it, and it's better to just have it inside out so that they're less visible once the shirt is done. And also, I'm going to be folding the shirt face down. Collar's on this side and the face is down, because a lot of times when you're doing a spiral, the side that's face down on the table is a lot smoother, and I want that to be the front because I want to dye that side, because I'm only going to be putting dye on one side. Sorry, that sounds a little bit confusing, but you kind of see what I'm trying to say once it's done. Okay, I can still see my center point through the shirt right there. So I'm just going to start pinching the very center, pinching the fabric up a little bit, and just twisting it. I don't want to go all the way yet. I kind of want to work my way to the full spiral by kind of pulling out the fabric to create these little like pleats sticking up, and then twist gradually. And sometimes the pleats will get a little bit too tall, so I will untwist it a little bit just so that it's nothing like starts to go over the center or cover it up. I'm trying to keep all the pleats a good height, not too tall, and kind of keeping them all the same, the best I can. When I first started tie-dyeing, one of the most challenging designs for me was actually a spiral, because I would try to tie it up with rubber bands and it would end up getting really loose and just messed up. So I started using kite string, and it actually helps me a lot. Now I love doing spirals. My first tutorial was actually a spiral fold, and it was really long, and I was kind of nervous for it because it was like my first video. So I thought it would be fun to make one now and like put a little twist on it. Okay. So now I'm gonna, instead of keeping my fingers here, you can see it's starting to make kind of like a bowl shape. And I don't want to keep that, have that continue happening. So I'm gonna kind of just place my hand flat here to hold the spiral in place and start twisting the fabric around and making sure everything's nice and straight. So I'm gonna be using kite string. Oh, whoa. Okay. I'm gonna be using kite string for this design. You can use rubber bands or whatever really materials you have and whatever works for you. My personal favorite though is kite string. So I'm going to hang this kite string over the t-shirt and then hold it with my thumb, keeping the rest of my hand flat on the spiral so everything stays in place. And then with the other hand, I'm going to slide the kite string underneath and pull it over. I'm not really pulling too tight yet because I don't want to smush the spiral. So I'm kind of just getting everything in place before I start to add some tension. Now I'm adding a little bit of tension and just making sure everything is staying the way I want it before I start going and wrapping it too much. And I'm just kind of, first thing I'm doing is getting all the really loose ends, like this one. And I'm just going around getting those first, and then I'll go around and get the rest of the shirt. That's pretty much all there is to it. I'm going to take my fingers and twisting here one more time just to ensure that the center is nice and tight. And like I was saying, I like to fold it face down so that the front side of the spiral is smoother and easier to dye on, because I like to dye the front of the t-shirt. And see, this side looks pretty good, but then when you flip it over, this side looks much better. So that's what the fold looks like. Well, that's what the fold looks like. So now I'll see you in a few minutes. So now I'll see you in a few seconds when we're dyeing the t-shirt. Alright everybody, I'm back and now I'm ready to dye my psychedelic spiral. So I'm going to be using Sea Glass from Dharma, Wedgwood Blue from Dharma, Navy Blue from Dharma, Bright Green from Dharma, Robin's Egg Blue from Dharma, and Alpine Blue from Dharma. As you can tell, I absolutely love Dharma colors. So you can kind of see I'm just placing everything quite random. This is why I really love this design. It's a little more time consuming just because it's like more intricate, I guess. A lot of colors being used, but I think the result is really pretty. My dad likes to call it a peacock because the colors are like peacock feathers. Now I'm going to go in with Wedgwood. Okay, now I've got the dye laid on. There's what it looks like. I'm super excited to see how this turns out. I'm also kind of nervous because you really never know how they're going to turn out. So my fingers are crossed. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add some powdered soda ash over this. Soda ash just really helps the shirt soak in the dye a little bit more. So now I'm going to add some ice. So now I'm just going to put this in the sun to melt, and I'm not going to be dyeing the other side because if I try to dye the other side, it's just going to be a mess because it's just going to be a mess. I don't really know how to explain it. But I'm just going to leave this outside to melt, and if I look underneath, once this is all melted and it's not really coming through as much as I want, then I'm going to add another layer of ice. But if it's coming through good enough, then I'm just going to let it batch for 24 hours overnight. So we'll see what happens, and I'll see you tomorrow for the rinse. Hello everybody, I'm back. It's been 24 hours now, and I am very ready to see how this is going to turn out. It's been a long 24 hours. Okay, so before I do anything, first I'm going to rinse off all the big chunks of dye that are still on it, and then I'll start taking off the kite string. Okay, Let's see how this turned out. It is very pretty. It's definitely going to lighten up a lot more once it's been washed in the washing machine. But I really love this color combo, all these blues and greens. It's very peacocky, and I love it. Okay, so now I'm going to wring it out underneath cold water in my sink. Wring it and just squeeze out all the excess dye. And then I'm going to turn the water to warm and continue doing the same thing. And then I'm going to move the water to hot and continue doing the same thing till the water is almost running clear. Okay, finished rinsing it out in the sink. It's lightened up a little bit more. Let me try to get it up close. The colors are really starting to brighten up. So now I'm going to throw it in the washing machine on the normal cycle, and in there with it, I'm going to throw in half a cup of Synthropol. Synthropol is an industrial detergent that just really helps the t-shirt lock in all the color. And then I'm going to dry it, and I will be back with the results in just a few seconds. Alright everybody, here's the finished t-shirt. I absolutely love how it turned out, and I may have to make myself one to match with my hoodie. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please check me out on Etsy, Instagram, and Facebook at TeenyTieDye. And please like, subscribe, and share my videos. Peace.